С новым дрифтом, дорогие друзья! Здравствуйте! И добро пожаловать на Нижегородское кольцо, где мы начинаем третий этап юбилейного сезона РДС Гран-при 2019 года. И снова я чувствую себя самым счастливым человеком на земле, потому что посмотрите туда. Там лучшие в мире зрители! А теперь давайте посмотрим в другую сторону, где у нас лучшие в мире пилоты. Их я вам сейчас представлю. Первой в этом строю находится команда Fail Crew. Сегодня в таком составе. Вице-чемпион мира Аркадий Цареградцев, город Красноярск. И его Skyline R34, рядом с ним пилот из города Иркутска Евгений Лосев. 81 номер Toyota Mark II. Движемся дальше. Здесь у нас уже привычная нам, хотя и новая команда с давно знакомыми пилотами. Vego Drift Team под 7-м стартовым номером на Toyota Supra. Антон Сваринский, город Москва. Рядом с ним 99-й стартовый номер на Nissan 200 SX. Действующий чемпион Республики Беларусь Дмитрий Нагула. В единственном числе сразу за обоих Никитосов двукратный вице-чемпион российской дрифт-серии Никита Шиков! И мы переходим к команде, которая выступает в ранге действующего чемпиона российской дрифт-серии I'm All Racing Russia. И первым я вам представлю многократного чемпиона РДС Восток, многократного победителя этапов нашего чемпионата Илья Федоров, город Владивосток. Стартовый номер 13. Обладатель уникального достижения в мире дрифта. Чемпион D1 Гран-при, победитель американской формулы дрифт. Пилот из города Сайтама, Япония. Дайго Сайто! И настоящее украшение этой команды. Участница из города Екатеринбурга Екатерина Набойченко. У нас, кстати, тут мини-парад людей из вот этого главного города хребта России. Еще один екатеринбуржец, стартовый номер 8, Андрей Остапов. И пилот, который достался ему в соперники. И совсем скоро мы их здесь увидим вместе в парном дрифте. Еще один екатеринбуржец, Даниил Меркель. Ну а этот человек основал не только бренд автопрофи, но и соответствующую команду, в которой мы увидели огромное количество звезд. И теперь смотрим на него в единственном числе. Степан Азаров! Новичок в дрифте, но далеко не новичок в автоспорте. Участник чемпионата России по автокроссу. И подающий огромные надежды дрифтер Анатолий Щербак. Ну что, уже странно, наверное, говорить снова про камбэк, но камбэк все камбэчнее и камбэчнее. Еще один москвич Магомед Амаров и его Toyota Альтеза. И, пожалуй, старейший в России дрифт-коллектив Tuning Factory и чемпион российской дрифт-серии 2014 года Андрей Песегов. 32 номер на ветровом стекле Skyline R32. Не лишний ни в одном строю, безусловно, хотя и не выступающий за эту команду, двукратный чемпион РДС Евгений Ружейников. И вернемся в состав команды Tuning Factory, которая в этом году, безусловно, усилила прекрасная гостья из Владивостока Екатерина Седых. В это сейчас сложно поверить, но бренд, который я сейчас назову, присутствовал в самом первом сезоне российской дрифт-серии как один из пилотов, которые выступают за эту команду в сезоне юбилейном. Лукойл Рейсинг, ХГК Дрифт. И в ее составе вице-чемпион российской дрифт-серии, чемпион Украины Алексей Головня, город Киев. Лидер личного зачета после 2 состоявшихся этапов. Что будет дальше? Совсем скоро увидим. Наверняка компанию захочет ему составить напарник по команде. Кристопс Блуш, город Рига, Латвия. Чемпион Восточной Европы, победитель этапа Формулы Дрифт и сразу нескольких этапов российской дрифт-серии. Ждем, разумеется, новых успехов, а пока переходим к чемпиону действующему. Представитель Форвард Авто, пилот из Красноярска, действующий чемпион мира, двукратный чемпион РДС Георгий Чивчан. В конце сезона надо будет посчитать, сколько раз я произношу слово «чемпион» во время парада пилотов. Видимо, будет какой-то рекорд. Переходим к старшему из 2 чивчанов, которым вы должны аплодировать, разумеется, больше. Владимир Чивчан, Форвард Авто. Мне сообщили, что в серии, в которой побеждал наш следующий участник, титул чемпиона официально не присваивается, но мы здесь очень щедрые люди. Чемпион, победитель Russian Endurance Championship Борис Абрамов, номер 79, дебютант российской дрифт-серии. Один с 2 фланкерами. И в хорошей компании, единственный петербуржец, в одиночку, как футбольный «Зенит», представляющий родной город. Диди Каба, Сергей Кабаргин! Чемпион Беларуси, чемпион Восточной Европы, мастер спорта по дрифту в Беларуси, так можно. Сергей Сак! И вот давайте нашему следующему участнику поаплодируем погромче. Круто ехал в тренировках, но, к сожалению, подвела техника этого прекрасного пилота из города Казани, Республика Татарстан, Айвар Мустакимов! И надо же, как символично завершает нашу церемонию представления пилотов команда, которая сейчас лидирует в соответствующем зачете сезона 2019 года. Неоднократный призер этапов РДС, пилот из города Москвы, Федор Воробьев, номер 5. Основатель, отец-основатель и руководитель команды Денис Мигаль. Победитель состоявшейся сегодня квалификации Дамир Идиатулин, город Красноярск. И пилот, которого Дамир отодвинул с 1-го места, просто по-братски, так сказать. Легендарный дрифтер из Японии, легенда D1 Гран-при Тецуя Хибино! Ну а теперь, уважаемый мой оператор, пойдемте-ка обратно в центр композиции, чтобы я мог представить нашим зрителям еще нескольких очень важных людей. Совсем-совсем скоро, вот просто буквально еще несколько шагов осталось. И, конечно же, камеру мы дождемся. А давайте-ка грянем аплодисмент в честь тех, кто делает для вас российскую дрифт-серию. Этих людей очень много. Я не смогу представить всех. Но я представлю тех, кто будет сегодня принимать очень сложные, очень трудные решения. Это, безусловно, наши судьи. В то время как пилоты на подиуме пробуют шампанское, получают кубки и подарки, на этих людей льется в интернете такое, что я не рискну повторить ни при каком цензурном уставе. Один из самых главных популяризаторов дрифта в нашей стране и один из тех, кто придумал аббревиатуру РДС, Дмитрий Семенюк, Владивосток. Очень крутой пилот и не менее крутой судья, который успевает поработать по обе стороны Тихого океана, в Китае, Корее. И какое же счастье, что он доехал и до нас, как и в прошлом году. Робби Нишида! Пилот, которого многие помнят по участию в российской дрифт-серии, но сейчас он куда более заметен как суровый и справедливый арбитр. Александр Сиверцев, город Москва! Ну, сейчас метнемся немножечко левее, потому что, как всегда, с камерой наперевес, вот с этой самой камерой. И еще один автор аббревиатуры РДС, Тимофей Кошарный. Ныне блогер, коллекционер, бон-виван. Это человек, который паркует автомобили, потом погуглишь. И я с удовольствием перехожу к еще одному очень успешному, кстати говоря, гонщику, чемпиону России, мастеру спорта, который настолько возлюбил дрифт, что стал директором РДС. Дмитрий Андреевич Добровольский, под ваши аплодисменты. Дмитрий Андреевич, этот микрофон, это лучшая в мире публика, все вам.
Привет, лучшая в мире публика! Очень мы рады в ваш город приезжать каждый раз уже много лет. И я надеюсь, что эта традиция никуда не пропадет. И, может быть, лет через 30 здесь тоже будут ваши дети и внуки болеть за наших детей и внуков. Вы все молодцы. Огромное вам спасибо, что находите в себе силы, терпение пробираться сюда сквозь эти жуткие пробки и болеть за самых лучших в мире дрифтеров. Всем дрифт! Ура!
Дмитрий Андреевич Добровольский! Ну и осталась одна не очень продолжительная, но очень важная история. Как всегда, по традиции, в начале каждого из наших этапов звучит государственный гимн Российской Федерации. Мы гордимся тобой, Россия, и с гордостью за свою страну объявляем третий этап сезона РДС Гран-при 2019 года открытым. С новым дрифтом, страна!
What does that mean?
Third,
Round?
it's like third race. It's the third race of the season.
Okay, so third round. Okay.
So we have like six
Six.
races, and so this is the third one, I think.
Okay.
The
So it's
last one is in Sochi. That's when we always close.
Sochi.
Sochi.
Oh, that's
It's
the beautiful place.
Yeah, that's the hot place, the one where
Okay.
it's warm. Except it's gonna be in October,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm still gonna go. So we're probably just gonna go skiing or something there because there's like really big mountains,
Mhm.
and so like snow on top, and so you can go skiing. It's gonna start in a minute.
Okay, and we're back for the final qualifying round of the third round of RDS competition, or the RDS GP. Hopefully everybody's doing okay. Make sure you got your water and sit back, relax. We're about to have a really good time. So we have 32 cars, just so you can understand what's going on. We have 32 cars that actually entered today's race, but everybody in the initial qualifying round that did not get any points whatsoever are cut. So Boris Abramov and Stepan Azarov are cut from this round. So now we have, and the other two cars are retired. So now we have 28 cars and we're going to knock it down to the top 16. Hold on one second. I'm getting some cross information. Let me clarify this. I don't want to tell you anything wrong, and I'll be right back with you. What the hell? That's not what the... It said top 32. It's the top 32, but there's only 28 cars. So 5 cars get a bye, and I don't know why. No, it's not a broken down, because a broken down wouldn't be a bye. Because a bye means they don't have to race anymore today. They already go till tomorrow. Huh. Yeah, I'm gonna just make something up here in a minute, but okay, and I'm back with a little more information. Basically, what's gonna happen is originally there was 32 cars. 5 of the cars are gonna get a bye till tomorrow, so they're automatically gonna be shot to tomorrow. And 2 cars that got 0 points in both of the initial qualifying runs, or they didn't manage to score any points at all, will not be entered into this last qualifying run. That will cut it down to top 16, which will be till tomorrow, which is very great because we get to see some tandem action today, and it's been forecasted to rain tomorrow. It may or it may not, but you get to see some dry, heavy smoke excitement for today. So right now the drivers are getting ready, and once we actually start to get some action, I'll definitely let you know. In the meantime, before we actually start our qualifying runs to chop down to the top 30, the top 16, I'm going to explain a little bit about the track. I've said this several times, so anybody that's been watching the entire race, I apologize. But there's a lot of new viewers here that don't understand what's going on. And a lot of the guys and a lot of you people out there that are watching do know what's going on. So I'm just going to, in the dead time, I'm going to let you know that RDS GP round 3, just like the other GPS tournaments, are using the Formula D style scoring system. And up to this point, I was not able to break down the scoring point to you because of all the earlier action. But now that we have a few minutes, I'll let you know how the scoring system works and how many points they get for each area of the track. So you can actually guess the judging and understand why a driver or a pilot got high scores or low scores as they go through the track. Okay, so the course layout consists of inner clip, your first touch and go, then you go into the long sweep outer clip, you have your second touch and go, then you have one more outer clip, then you have your last inner clip, which is the last curve of the actual this drift course layout this time, and distance is 920 meters, and each area or zone has a different point system. So you know what the different points are. Inner clip 1, you get 4 points for line, 4 points for angle. Touch and go 1, you have 4 points for line and 4 points for angle. Then the outer zone. Now, if you don't stay in the outer zone for the full time, it's a big hurt because you get 7 points for line and 7 points for angle in this one. So it's almost twice the amount of points that you get for your touch and go. So it's very important that these zones are actually hit well. Now your second touch and go is another 4 points, which you flow into the next outer zone. And if you hit the entire outer zone, you get your full 7 points. And then you get the final inner clip, which is that last inner clip that a couple of the pilots have been having trouble reaching. but that's another 4 points and 4 points for line and angle. So that's 8 points you can lose right there by just missing that climp. Now, if you're wondering, that just ends up 60 points. The most points you can get is 100, because you can get 40 points for style. That's the max for style, and 20 points is for commitment, and 20 points is for fluidity. So remember, even if you have a pseudo bad run, if you get really high style points, your style points and actually give you higher points than line and angle as far as the maximum point capability. So it's better if these guys don't bail out and try to at least recover with style points. That way they might have a chance of making it to the next round. So that's kind of the thought process behind how we have it's set up. So we're about to start our first oh, this is our first buy run. Okay. So as he comes through the respect pylons, he accelerates after there's the last pylon. Okay, that's full acceleration. The initiation, he hit the first clip, so that'd be the second touch and go he missed. So he's gonna lose points for that. This outer zone that comes around the back, he hit the touch and go. The outer zone, he took care of that. A slight deceleration here. He might get penalized for that, but he managed to hit the last inner clip. So there's a good chance that that would be a good run, but he missed quite a few points by entirely missing the first touch and go after that inner clip. And hold on 1 second, I'll be right back. This is.
That was the guy that got the most points last time. I remember that. His name is Daniel Itiatuyen. And right now they said that they're like getting ready the cars for start, and they had like a delay at this like thing, at the meetup thing. They had a delay, and so the second car's gonna come, and that's gonna be the Japanese guy, the one that got the
Hibino?
Yeah, so they're gonna do it by the like amounts of points they got by last place, I'm pretty sure. Oh wait, no.
No, see.
No, I don't know how to do it.
I don't.
They didn't tell me the one time. Oh, it's like a car system.
Okay, see, it's supposed to be versus. That's why they understand what's going on. All right, and I'm back. We're having a slight confusion in the booth here. It's not a problem. We're about to start our tandem runs right now, so this should be the warm-up for the flanker, and then we should be able to start our tandem-ups. Once I get somebody that can kind of explain exactly what's going on with that the first couple of runs and how the buy runs are going, I will come back and let you guys know. Right now, to be honest, I'm not really sure exactly how this buy run's going to run for this particular area, since we had so many small issues in the background with the actual cars not being ready on time, and furthermore. So just hold on with us for that in a few minutes and check out this first tandem run between the Lada, my favorite car in Russia, and the Flanker, which is one of my favorite cars on earth. So this is just as exciting for me as it is for you guys. If you're not aware, the Lada usually comes with, I believe, and anybody of my Russian friends, if I'm wrong, could you please put the correct engine size of the Lada in on the live feed comment section. I don't have access to it, but I believe it's a 1.6 engine. It is either 1.3 or 1.6, but I'm pretty sure the Russian guys that are tuning in will actually know the actual spec size for that. I'm just remembering what people have told me, and I've heard a couple of different things. All I know is I love the car. And as we're moving on, we're about to start our first tandem race or battle for the top 32 in round 3 RDS action series. If you guys have been following since earlier this morning, you've seen that we had qualifying runs with pretty much mid 80s is the average score, and a couple of drivers jumping off into the 93, 92 area. So it's a very technical course, so it'd be really interesting to see in this tandem, or as the Japanese call it, suiso, is going to turn out. So representing St. Petersburg, Didi Kaba. Okay, and they start. So Didi Kaba is in the lead. In the lead for the first run. They come around the respect zone, and the minute they pass the pylon, full throttle. A lot of lost traction. He kind of lost a little bit of ground. Let's see if he can make up. They come through the first. Didi is actually touching the zones he's supposed to, even though his inner clip was a little wide. The out zone he's following, the Lotta is actually taking an in line, which is going to cost him some points. But if he can keep proximity, he can make up for that. That last outer zone, and Didi went completely off the course, making it a unchaseable run. Therefore, he will probably get 0 points. Now, we will find out here in a few seconds if he gets, if he's going to get a complete goose egg for that run or not. But he actually came in extremely hot. 153. That is one of the highest entry speeds that we've had today. But yes, definitely wiping out right there at that particular time. Of course, out is no longer a line that the Lotta can chase. Therefore, it's an unchaseable run, and he will get no points for this particular one, which will definitely set the Lotta up in advantage for the next run. So when they change positions, we'll see if, now if the Lotta makes a mistake, he'll get a chance to go to sudden death. But the guy's a consistent driver, so I don't really foresee that happening. But any given Sunday, as they say for football, it could go either which way. So these guys are lining up. Hopefully Didi didn't do any damage to his car. Okay, he's lined up. So, all right, so we have no damage. So they're about to take off here in 1 second. And as of now, the Russian Lotta is at advantage. Now, I will say it was impressive how they started the last one. So let's see what kind of entry speed that Fedor can get, as he is the lead car. They are not allowed to go full throttle till after that last pylon, and now they're in the full throttle. Initiating, perfect timing for the initiation. Slight bobbling, but I don't think there's going to be any points. Okay, and Fedor is hitting all the zones he's supposed to. The out zone, yes, he got the entire out zone. Now the last kickback. Didi Kaba has already showed some wobble. He's not really chasing like he should. I think he's thinking more about making up. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Now that wasn't a particularly safe maneuver for him. Luckily, Fedor is a good driver, and he was able to see that he was getting pulled up next to, and they didn't have a crash. Thanks for that. I wouldn't recommend anybody pull up beside anybody like that, though. As you look back on the entrance, Kaba is right on his door. Unfortunately, he's taking an inline starting right about here. I don't know if he's smoke blind or whatever. There's a couple of bobbles. He comes out of the zone, so he's not really doing a really good chase job, even though he is maintaining proximity. And we go there. The last clip is taken. I'm not really sure why he got on the gas. It's probably the adrenaline in driving. I'm not really sure why he pulled up past him like that after the finish line. But at least Fedor saw it and didn't do a lazy kick back into him. Now, at the end, even at the end, after they go through this last finish point, if they spin out, they'll still get a goose egg after that last point. So the drivers aren't trying to, let me make it past the finish line before I lose control. They're supposed to keep control all the way, straighten out, and leave. If they're not able to do that, then they'll either get penalties or actually they'll get cut. So we'll see how it goes. And yes, Fedora gets the 3 winners. Didi Kaba actually gave an impressive run at the end. There was a couple of issues, a couple of bobbles on the way through, but it was an impressive tandem, and hopefully we'll get to see more action, and I'd like to see more proximity and a good tandem chase. And right now, we have got the recipe for that right now, a Nissan R32 with the R35 V8. The 3.8 V6. Okay, he gets another bye too, so we're not going to see tandem for there. So like I was saying earlier, 5 cars get a bye. I apologize, I don't have a list in front of me of which cars actually got the bye to the next round. So we'll explain it as we go. Just check out this car and it's beautiful drifting and its run across the track. I have to say this is one of the cars that I would say probably has more technology than a lot of the other cars as far as the anti-lag. There's only a couple of guys that you'll really see that really have that loud off-throttle popping. And that would be Habino-san, this R32, and there's one other, I believe it's the S13, that is like the off-throttle popping to keep your boost spooling up. So I've always been a big fan of loud cars, especially mid-drift, so hopefully we'll get to see more of that as well. Another car that sounds amazing today would be Daigo Saito and his NASCAR engined V8 in the Altezza. So hopefully we'll get to see him actually do some door-to-door action and stuff. And there's Didi Kaba. He's one of the major players and a big character in Russian drifting. He's got a my way or the highway type of attitude, and I love it to death because his car is completely original. His driving style tends to be really unique, and hopefully we'll get to see higher points and longer lasting qualifying runs at him and as the series goes on. Still have 3 more races this year. This is round 3, so we still have plenty of opportunity to see a lot of the people that might not make it to the top 16 today actually do better placement in the next races too. Luckily we have perfect boost weather today. It's not too hot, it's not too cold. The fans are being able to really like nestle in and be comfortable, because sometimes it can get above 30, and even if it gets 30, 35 degrees, the fans are here. No shade, nothing. So you definitely have to appreciate that. Okay. Warm up?
Yeah, it's a
Okay, for tandem.
right now all the time warmers.
Okay.
Well, depends on their track.
Okay, so that's right. All right, so the drivers are doing their first round warm up. And so while we have a slight gap, while the exercise runs are getting taken care of, I can go back over the rules for anybody that just joined us or whoever missed the scoring system earlier. Today the course layout is 900 and hold on one second. I keep on thinking it's one thing and I know it's not. 940 meters from stop to finish. The respect zone is 280 meters. So after the respect zone, that's when they're allowed to go full throttle. If you throttle it before the respect zone, you'll be penalized. And if it's too aggressive, then you'll actually lose point or get a 0. All right, so you go into the first inner clip that you see these guys when they do that first kick out and hit that first inner clip. That's 4 points for line and 4 points for angle. You have your first touch and go, which is 4 points for line, 4 points for angle. You have the large outer zone, which is 7 points for line and angle. So the outer zones is really something that they need to pay attention to, because it becomes for a max of 8 points. It becomes a match of 14 points. So that's like a big area that they need to pay attention to, and a mistake there can cost you enough points for you to not even make the top 16, whether you're in the lead or the chase. The next area or the next zone is the touch and go 2, which is 4 points for line and 4 points for angle. You have your next outer zone, which is 7 points for line and angle. So once again, that's an area that they really need to make sure you hit, even if you miss some of the touch and goes. And then your last clip, or your inner clip, which is 4 points for line and 4 points for angle, for a total sum of 60 points. Now, you get another 40 points, max points for style, and that's split up into commitment and fluidity. So you can actually get 40 points just for style alone. So even if you do make a couple of mistakes during your touch and goes, or even if you make a big mistake in the outer zones, then you'll still be able to get a decent score if you make sure you've got aggressiveness with the style and your limited corrections and stuff. So here we go. It's Gorgi Tifton and Katie in the chaser. It's one of the 2 female drifters that we have today, and she is chasing down Mr. Tifton, who is one of the more well-known champions. She went out really wide and she's losing distance, which is putting her in a position where she's going to have to really do shallow lines to try to catch up, which means she's not going to be getting any points through majority of the track. Kind of in panic mode. I think it would have been better for her to sit back. Yeah, she's trying to get proximity again and ended up spinning out. So she basically lost it. I believe it's a spin out. The camera angle kind of changed on me. If she had just said, okay, I lost proximity, let me finish the course out to try to get some points, I think that would have been a better move for her. But in her defense, she is one of the newer drivers, and she is right from the top having to go against the die-hard, no-joke master in RDS. This guy has won so many times, it's almost ridiculous. Not to mention, this is one of his favorite courses. So I give her an A for effort. Her losing is nothing to be ashamed of, but I think she probably could have used a different tactic in this particular run. That way, at least she can get some kind of points, just in case something happens and Tifton makes a mistake when they change positions. But so is the game. Now, for anybody that doesn't know how the tandem works during the Formula D type rules, or I'm just going to go ahead and call it the RDS rules, because that's the rules that they live by here. The front car is a moving clipping point. So the rear car actually has to chase the front car and try to stay in the same lines that he does. Now, it's different from the Japanese style, where you can take it in line and kind of get like close to his door, staying on his rear and actually mimicking the line that the front car do to get you the most points, coupled with proximity. So we'll see if Tifton is going to make a mistake or if Katie can pull away from him. All right, so she's actually had a good entry. It's a little lower speed than we want, but Tifton is not having any problems catching up, where as you can see, he's right on her rear bumper. He's maintaining her line. So she is a moving clipping point, and Gorgi is pretty much mimicking the line that she's doing. When she went in, any zone she hit, he's hitting. So he's going to win this one without a doubt, because this is actually what the judges look for. This is the type of tandems that will get you wins. That type of following is what we're looking to do. Now, He could probably have had a little more proximity, but him being a professional driver, there's no reason for him to be door to door with her if he knows he can win at a distance. And that's making sure he doesn't have any risk of damage in his car that won't let him go into the next round. So that was very smart from him. Gorgie is definitely playing chess and not checkers today. So that was a great run. So I'm really looking forward to some higher entry speeds. And as soon as I said that, Smoky Master Flex has come on board. Okay, so as I was saying earlier, Tiff Town for the win. Oh wow, did Daigo get a bye? Let me ask my assistant here. So is Daigo doing a warm-up or does he have a bye?
I'm pretty sure they're doing they said that like they're doing warm-ups right now, so yeah, there's like no buys. I'm pretty sure I'm doing
Okay, so it's stopping with the bye.
85% sure.
Okay. Well, if another car pulls up, we'll know. If another car pulls to the starting line, then we'll know. Wow, this is taking a while. I really got to go to the bathroom again. There's no way I'm going to make it 7:30.
You're giving us extra time to like for all of the people. That's what we're doing the transition to like tell who this is before they start racing, so they're gonna have extra time standing so that you could like tell them that that is.
Okay.
So that you can
So say it one more time.
So you and Boya will have extra time to like present the drivers,
Mhm.
so yeah, we'll just like have extra time to present them.
Oh,
So we
okay.
won't, like do it last minute or something.
Oh, okay.
Because he has the same problem right now.
Oh, okay. All right, so I am back, and we will know in a few minutes how this is going to be set up. Like I was saying earlier, and I apologize, I don't have a list of who got buys to automatically go to the top 16 and who is actually going to have to do the tandem. It seems like Daigo might have got a bye because he didn't go through the, I mean, he made a run, but there was nobody else doing the warm-up, so. Time will tell. Moving on, I'd like to thank everybody for joining us in the RDS Round 3 today. I'm pretty sure you guys are checking this out from a lot of different countries, all my American constituents. I'd like to say hey and thank you for watching. Everybody in Europe, everybody in Russia, everybody, any of the English speakers, and even if you're just watching this and you don't understand what's going on, thank you for joining us today. We appreciate the patronage, we appreciate the views, and we also would like more people to actually get into this RDS wave. It's still a young circuit. It's the 6th year that they've had it, and it's still picking up traction, and it's getting more and more tracks across Russia. So a lot of you guys I know definitely are familiar with Christoph Blus and his Eurofighter. He has been a European champion. RDS, he's been RDS. He's been a major player. Formula D. This guy is like basically joined just about every major competition on the face of the earth, and he is actually one of the people I can honestly say I think could possibly pull out a win today. Him and a couple of others. Of course, I have my little prejudice too, because there's a couple of drifters in this series that I like more because of their particular styles of their car setup. So if you can, put in the comments, who do you think is going to take this one? You know, you get bragging rights definitely if you called it ahead of time. I wish I could see you. I apologize. I don't have access to the YouTube live feed right now, so I can't really see any of the comments. So if I don't address anything that you're putting up or any questions that you have, I apologize. It's just at the way everything is set up today, it'd be completely impossible to do that. Hopefully I've answered most of the questions that anybody has had. I've just went over the point system, and I've given a basic layout of the distance of the track. that's basically everything that we can cover. If you have one interesting spicy fun Franklin fact, is that this course uses a special tarmac, which I thought was very interesting. They actually purposely built it with special tarmac, and unfortunately a lot of the grip style racers have complaints because they say it's not as, doesn't provide as much traction as a lot of the other courses do. But for the drifters, I guess it has to do with their use of slip coefficient and more of a grading style where you're actually not at 100% traction. You're usually swerving between 60 to 70% traction going forward at an angle. It actually gives the drift cars more traction and allows them to come into the angles, go into the corners a lot faster, a lot heavier. It has more stopping power. So it's, for the drifters, it's actual plus for this type of tarmac. Unfortunately, when it rains, it's really bad. So, okay, so we're getting ready for the next tandem action. We have Astapov Rds, and I missed the other name. They're about to do their warm-up runs right now, and then we're going to get right into the drift action. Now, the interesting thing about the Mark II is it's one of the heaviest cars in the competition today. It's almost, the interior is almost completely stock. So he is actually like almost over the weight limit for the car. So it's actually interesting to see somebody going with almost a full stock setup in this round. In Japan, they call it full sobi. So basically, he's taken a car, did some engine and suspension work to it, and brought it out here. Now, for those of you that aren't really, or haven't ever really drifted or done motorsports, the heavier the car is, the higher the inertia, which means it has more tendency to keep going in the direction it's going. It's a little bit harder to control. Actually, if it's heavy enough, it's a lot harder to control because you have to do more techniques and stuff to de-accelerate. Coming into corners, a lot of times you have to kill more speed, and it's just, it's a lot more issues. So the fact that he's able to compete in a pro level in a car that has hardly any type of weight loss modifications done to it, it just shows that he's actually a really strong driver, and I hope he does well in this tandem. Unfortunately, having a heavy car is a disadvantage, especially in a medium-sized course. If this was one of the higher speed courses, he might be able to do a little more or compensate for the extra weight due to the longer sweeps. But since this is, like I said, multiple corners, you have one long swoop, but before that you actually have an end cut where you have to scrub a little speed and set yourself up to where you can throttle out and accelerate, and then have to de-accelerate with limited handbrake or brake action. I think it'll be very, very difficult for him to pull it off. Not saying that he doesn't have the ability to, because I'm pretty sure he does, but we will see here in a few minutes if he's able to keep up with the Lexus. And everybody's setting up, so we should be ready to start here in a few seconds and for this next round.
Right now there's going to be like a versus thing, and then there's going to be a by-run.
So we've got Andrei Astapov against Daniel Markev. This is going to be a battle, and then the next car to pull up is going to be another by-run. So they're getting the by-runs out of the way where the guy runs by himself, pretty much guaranteed to go into the next round. So here we go. We've got a light car against a very heavy car. As you can see in the start, he's already getting pulled away from. Let's see, please get back in there. Okay, he had to do some serious corrections right here. He's been having problems today actually keeping that line. I don't know if he's having some engine issues or what. It just seemed like he's just not able to stretch it out, and he's pretty much not drifting at all. He came around this last corner right here. He kicked it back out, but it's definitely Andre has got the win for this for the first run. So they're going to change, and once the lead becomes the follower, we'll see if Andre makes a mistake or if Marquez is able to pull out a miracle run. He might still be in the winnings, but at this point right now, it's not really looking good for our hero. As you can see right there, he pretty much got left. Then you have to play that chase game where you start doing lighter angles and you're just trying to catch up and get into proximity, which is not really, it's better to get some points than none, but even still, it's best if possible to stay within proximity from the beginning, because the minute you get into that panic, stressed out chase mode is when you just see your points just getting shedded off, shedded off, shedded off, shedded off. And I can almost guarantee, or actually I can guarantee, that Andre has pulled this one off, because he did manage to fill all the zones. He did provide a chaseable run. He was a great moving clipping point, and I think it was just the difference between cars, horsepower, and Ostapov is having a really good day, as opposed to Marquez is just having, you just seem like he's been off all day. Now it's a good opportunity. There's a chance that he'll be able to kick it in. I think he would be better if he had a little more stance on his car as well, for a little more control. But we will see. Drifting is spectacular, and a lot of things happen out of the blue. So who don't know? He might be able to come in and at entry point really, 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 really spicy, burn the tires up, a lot of smoke, get all the angles, get all the style points that he needs, confuse Andre, and pull out the win. So I'm crossing my fingers. Hopefully we'll see Daniel do like a really good run this time. So come out of the respect zone, and now to drop the hammer. And yes, it's just obvious that his car is considerably slower than Andre's, and Andre is not having any problems following him. Now Andre's not going to lose points for not hitting the zones, because all he has to do is stay in a chase line with Daniel, who is, and he spent out. Now, I don't know if the judges are going to say it was an unfollowable run is the reason why he spent out, but this could be an interesting turn of events if they go ahead and not say that if they say it's a chaseable run and he spent out, because he did not have to get that close. Not saying it was a mistake, but he did lose control. So I'm interested in seeing what the judges are going to say. Was it a self-inflicted conundrum? Is that what just happened here? And as you see, he took that in line, which is not necessarily a good line for RDS. That's more the Japanese style tandem. And I personally like that style, but for here, it's to stay and take the exact same line as the guy in front of you with as much proximity as possible. So I'm curious which way. It'll be a few seconds, but we're going to find out in a second if the judges, what they're going to say about that particular run. So you can see the entry point was wild. They're showing the first run again. And basically, Andre just completely pulled away from him at the beginning. Daniel is having some issues linking the course. And today, he's kind of been struggling linking the course all day. And I just don't know if it's an underpowered thing, is it a setup thing. But what he's trying to do and what his car is allowing him to do is just completely two different things. So hopefully we'll have what the judges' answer will be here in a few seconds. Because I am really curious which way the judges are going to see that spin out. And while we're waiting for the judge results, we're going to have Habino-san's bye run, since he was one of the top scorers in the first qualifying runs. He's going to do a solo run by himself and continue on, and he's going to move into the top 16. Him He was the first one to get to break 90s. So there's 2 racers that had 90s. It was him, and the other gentleman was, I have to look on the list. What was his name, Elisa? Huh? Yeah, Itia Tulintami, or close to that. Well, you'll see him again. He'll be popping up again. And that guy made a fantastic run.
My best friend has the same surname, so it's easy to remember.
Oh, okay. You're cheating. Okay, and I apologize for literally destroying all these names. I'm learning how to say the names as we go on. I don't mean any disrespect. I'm saying them the best I can. Phonetically, it's just a little difficult, but I mean, or I have complete respect for all these drivers, so please don't think that I'm making a mockery of any of these guys, because that is not where my heart is at. I love all these guys. I love talking to them. Everybody here is friendly. They're cool with each other. When you walk through the pits, they'll talk to you. They'll say hi. If you have a question about their setup, they'll talk to you. They'll give you a signature and a heartbeat. It's just a really good atmosphere. And if anybody or any of you guys ever get a chance to come over to Russia and join in the RDS. Oh, okay. So we have got it. There it is. Andre got the win. It appears that they've deemed it an unchaseable run. I'm thinking, I don't have contact directly with the judges right now, but I'm pretty sure it was considered an unchaseable run due to
Итак,
the thing. So,
Робби
all right, we have a
Нишида сейчас
breakdown now, so I'm going to check out the breakdown,
судейское
and
решение,
I'll give
которое,
you the
может
guys
быть,
the
кому-то
information I get
показалось
from that.
необычным. Robbie, give please some comments about your decision.
All right, so car number 8 had a better lead run than car number 6, and pretty much the car number 8 did spin behind car number 6 when he was chasing. But at the same time, car number 6 didn't spin, but there was way too big of a gap where we had to consider that as an inactive chase because it wasn't even a battle because maybe he was like 10, 12 car lengths behind. So pretty much we had to zero out both cars chasing. So now we had to go back to both of the cars' lead runs. And car number 8 was doing a better job on his lead runs. He was filling his zones and touch and goes more than car number 6. So we had to give it to car number 8. It's a little weird because you did see car number 8 spin behind, but it is true that car number 6 was way behind that. He didn't even have a chance to actually give chase.
Thank you, Robbie. Итак, решение основано на том, что проезды вторым у обоих водителей получились на 0. Если мы говорим про номер 8, то он развернулся здесь вот как раз перед трибуной. Но при этом номер 6, как мы это называем, не осуществлял активное преследование. То есть расстояние до лидера было настолько велико, что назвать это парным заездом невозможно, поэтому за это он тоже получил 0. В случае 2 нулей при проезде вторым сравнивается проезды первым, а первым однозначно намного лучше проехал номер 8, поэтому вот такое судейское решение.
Competitive driving, scoring points, proximity, and filling all the zones. So he said it was an awkward decision. He understands, but they gave it to Andre because of that. Even though it seemed like there was a spin, it didn't turn out to be a 0 because it was almost a situation where that was like the only outcome that could possibly happen in that particular one. So I'm not really sure. Feel free to put in the comments what you feel about that judgment. And this bye run for Hibino-san coming up. There it is. Now he is driving the the team Fresh Out's 8-0 Supra that he's borrowed. He just came now, hopped in it, and just started getting big points. So you definitely got to give props to Hibino, which is one of the drift legends for D1. And hopefully we'll get to see more of him in RDS. This isn't his first time here. It would be really great if he was able to compete next year too. As you can see, heavy transition. His throttle work is always amazing, and he's fast in areas where a lot of people neglect to be fast at. He has a unique driving style, and he can actually go. He was actually one of the few people in D1 for the longest that were still had under 300 horsepower when everybody else started doing 600-700 horsepower. So he is an OG, and at America they say OG, original gangster, or a veteran of the sport. That's what that means. So the top 16, when he's in there tomorrow, it's going to be nothing but awesome sauce all over the table. So I want you to check that out, and check us out tomorrow to see Hibino-san, so you can see Daigo get busy, so you can see all these other guys come out and just have just really aggressive battles, tight tandems, seesaw, just what basically why we tune in to Drift. Okay, so we still got quite a few tandems left for today. They're cutting back and forth into a couple of interviews and stuff in the meantime. So while they're doing those cuts, I'm going to go find out some technical information, and I'll be back with you guys in a few seconds. They're going to start the next series of tandem here in a few seconds. So they're actually doing the warm-ups in the background. They're tire warm-ups, you know, your general run around and get ready for the run. So I'll be with you in 1 second. Please hang on with us, and the next round of tandems will be here in not even a couple of minutes. It'll be here real soon, so I'll be right back. Thank you. After the first full, everybody goes, we might be able to. Okay, party people, Greg is back with you, and we're ready to continue this beautiful tandem action that we all love, and this is why we watch drifting, to see two cars do what it does. All right, so we have this is the only FT86 in the competition today. You really see those a lot more often as the car get more and more popular. Of course, they always have the tranny swaps and the whole nine. But still, we're about to start. Shkov is actually having a pretty good day today too. So we'll see if Katie and her S15 will be able to stay up with him. Okay, so they're setting the cars up, getting everything set up. So we have Ekaterina Saduk and her S15. She's one of the two female drivers today. Very aggressive driver. I love her style. She has a 2J in it, so she does have 500 horsepower, so it's not a slouch. It's still 3.0, it's not bored up, and they're about to start right now. Nikita Shkov and Miss Saduk. We will see how it turns out. I believe that Nikita has a slight power advantage, or actually has more than a slight power advantage, and this car might be lighter, but the S15 is a traction monster, so I think it should be tight in the initiation. Okay, he's kind of pulling away from her, but if she plays her cards right, and okay, she came in really, okay. Yeah, that kickback is going to get her, she's going to lose penalty. She's like really in. She's not really in a chase position. She's taking a very shallow line, which is not going to get her enough points. But Oh, wow. That's an interesting turn of events. He came in too spicy. You don't need that much Tabasco on your food, man. He came in too hot. Ended up wiping out. It wasn't a complete course out, so I don't know if they're going to penalize him for that, because at that particular point, he was no longer a chaseable clipping point. So it'd be interesting to see which the judges are going to do. Now, up to that point, she was having serious issues following him, and taking that in line is not going to get you the points that you need to actually win, because they don't want you to try to be front tire to front tire. They actually want you to be pretty much your front end, rear bumper, or you could be a little farther back, but you need to be in the same line and hitting whatever areas he's hitting. So we will see. I'm glad he didn't give up on the drift and just completely spin out. He stuck with it and kept it around, but we'll see how the judges are going to judge it. Is she going to get penalized for not really doing a decent job of chasing in the first place, and are they going to let him continue forward, or are they going to hit them with both of them are going to get hit with enough penalties to where the next round is going to decide it, or they're going to have to do it one more time? So it'd be real interesting. These particular situations make it interesting because you don't know which way it's going to go. I personally think that she was having so many issues with the actual follow line that it should either be 0-0, it should be pretty much blanked out, and everything depends on this run. But who knows? The judges are the professional. They make the call, and whatever they say is how it is. So they come out of the respect lines, full throttle. He's staying back from her a little bit. I think he's a little cautious because of the trouble she was having with the lines earlier. He did a major bobble, and he's actually, okay, so we had some kind of issues. I don't know if it's a tranny issue or what, but she had to retire. It looked like she might have just blown her tranny. Now that's a shame. I was actually interested to see if he was going to be able to stick with her all the way through, because any given Sunday, she could have pulled this one out. But right now, it looked like she's going to be mechanically retired. So she's creeping back into the pits. I hope it was just a shift miss and not an actual blown tranny or a drive shaft. But right now, okay, let's look. We come in here, and yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on with that. She's still able to drive. I think she's going to be able to drive off the track, so it's not going to cause any delays or anything. But that is definitely a maintenance issue right there. So as soon as I get information on what happened or what broke on her car, I'll let you know. But as the time being, all three judges pretty much gave it to Nikita. So congratulations, Nikita. And hopefully Katrina can get her car up and running for the next RDS. She is no longer going to be in the top 16, and it's a shame. The car is driving on its own power, so hopefully it just popped out of gear, and that was that. Okay, so we have the next buy run is Anton Svorinsky. Okay, my assistant is laughing at me, so obviously I said it wrong. How do you say it, Elisa? Svorinsky. Svorinsky. Okay, Anton Svorinsky. And if you notice the front end on the 180, this is a common front clip that you'll see on a lot of the Russian 180s in the RDS. I don't know if they have it stateside being the United States. I've only seen it here, but I really like it. Matter of fact, all the 80 Supras in this league so far that I've seen have had the similar front clip. So if anybody knows what the maker of that front clip is, if it's something that could be sold, or if it's in another country, if you could put it in the comments, because I'm sure there's a couple of 80 guys watching the feed today that might actually be interested in buying it. And actually looking on the site or on the television, it's not giving it justice, or on your computer screen, it's not giving it justice. It's actually a really sleek line. So, yeah, it's something to look into. If anybody knows what it is, post it in the comments. Help the other people out. If it's not something that can be bought and it's only RDS, it is what it is with that too. But like I said, it's really popular in RDS. I haven't seen it anywhere else. Now, if it's out there somewhere else or it's like common in Europe or anything, I don't have access to those areas, so I don't know. So there it is. So once again, I'd like to thank everybody for coming and spending this time with me, Gregory Franklin from Japan. I appreciate your time. I appreciate the views. If you have any questions about how the system works today, hopefully I've been answering it. In a few seconds here, I'm going to go back over the rules again. And I know it sounds redundant to a lot of the people that have used their precious time to get through. So I'm going to give a little background of this area right now. Right now we're in an area called, my sister's going to kick me in the face if I say it wrong again, so I'm going to ask her one more time how to say it. Nizhny Novgorod. Okay, so one more attempt. Nizhny Novgorod. And it is a very old area in Russia. It's going to be 2,000 years old soon. And an interesting Gregory Franklin fun fact is in 1930, the Soviet Union was frantically renaming places. They wanted to distance themselves from the Tsarist period, so they got rid of any place's name associated with countries according to that royal history. In 1933, Nizhny Novgorod was renamed after the famous Soviet writer Maxim Gorky, who was a 5-time Nobel Prize winner. And Gorky was the founder of the socialist realism, a style that rejected. So that's enough of that, and back to the drifting. I was trying to fill in a few seconds. So, okay, so we've got Dmitry Nogila and Anatoly Sherbak. Hot entry speeds, of course. The kickback. Now, the chaser, Sherbak, is not doing a good job chasing him at all. He needs to try to hang on to finish the run. That way he'll have some kind of points on the book. But he is basically getting pulled away from it. Even at the initiation, he took a real shallow line, which makes it to where you have no choice but to brake if you want to stay on course when you get into that first big sweep. So it's unfortunate, but the initiation pretty much doomed his entire run. So when they do the switch and the leader becomes the follower and the follower becomes the leader, the prey becomes too late today for cleverisms. But as you can see on the entry point, the pull away, he took a really bad line and it pretty much doomed his entire chase. Now luckily he didn't lose it and spin out. He'll probably still get some semblance of points, but this is going to be a definite loss for him in this particular this initial tandem run here. And looking earlier, even during the qualifying rounds, the S13, it almost seemed like the car is too light. And that's something I've never really seen too much. But he says he's having problems actually being able to keep the car, nangore is the Japanese word for to keep the car sliding out of the zones when he's off throttle. So it seems like a lot of his lines end up being shallow because he's not able to throw the car out and have it just stay in a line that's consistent. He's literally having to throttle and bully the car around the track. So we'll see when they change here if he's able to do a drift run. Now, when they change here, if he's able to pull a run out, that will get him some points. You never know what happened. Lead car could spin out. Chase car could spin out. Even though you failed in the first run, something miraculous could happen and you could still continue on. So it's always best if the driver doesn't give up. And all these guys are professionals. They've been drifting for a long time, so they pretty much know how that game is. So we'll see. So he's trying to they're doing the air pressure right now. Just the air pressure. So as I was saying earlier, it might have been too much traction perhaps. Who knows? Well, we'll see when he's in the lead. Now, if he can give a good, solid run, hitting all the zones that he needs to hit, and the chase car is not able to stay within proximity or follow his chase run, then he might be able to pull this out. But right now, Dmitry is in the lead as far as the first round. Okay, and when he go into the full throttle zone, kick out, there's a slight bobble there, but I don't see any problem. He's not really hitting the zones as much as I really think he should. He's kind of shallow right there, but he is pulling away from Dmitry, who is now trying to catch up with him. So let's see, how is he going to finish this up? They're coming down. Is he going to be able to hit that last? He hit the last clip. Yeah, so it's interesting to see which way this one's going to go. Now, granted, Dmitry got the advantage for the first run. So depending on how big his advantage was in the first run is going to dictate whether the judges are going to go one way or the other. For my personal opinion on how this just went down, Dmitry for the win. But that's just how I think. The judges have a different view of the entire track. They're actually looking from up to down, and I'm just looking through a 2D or a two-dimensional perspective. So we don't, I don't know which way it's going to go, but I really think that the 180 pulled it out. And it's cool because we have two S chassis lined up, which is something you don't see as much anymore due to the prevalence of the S15s, your BMWs, and your Supras in the RDS. So to have two S chassis on the same track, and I'm from Japan, and S chassis all over the place, the nostalgia is always nostalgic. There it is. So I think we're about to have another buy run because I'm pretty sure Arcady has got a buy run. So okay, so we're gonna have a buy run. So just sit back and enjoy this R34 with the R35 GTR V6 at 1200 horsepower, scream around the track just because it can.
Like the schedule, so it's gonna be first like battle, Byron warm-up battle, Byron warm-up battle, and during warm-ups there's gonna be injuries, so it's like that.
Okay.
So they have like a strict schedule now.
Okay.
So they know exactly what they're doing, and so during the interviews you can like just talk about like fun facts or something, and
Okay.
my internet's back, so I can like Google stuff.
Okay,
if
cool.
needed.
All right. That Gorky stuff was actually interesting. All right, so we're back. So Arkady is about to have a buy run because he was one of the top scorers in the initial race, and then we're going to be right back into tandems so we can chop off the top 32 down to the 16, which they'll have tomorrow in the event. Hopefully all of you can join us again. Hopefully some more people will check out the views or check out the actual live drift event. I would have to say that out of all the different places that I've been to all over the world with these drift events, and especially a lot of the drift events I do in Japan, if you ever get the opportunity to come and check out an RDS event, it is absolutely worth it. The way the bill of cards, everything is just different. So okay, so we've got a result. We've got, okay, Alex with a one more. Okay. So wait a second. So I had a screen malfunction. Hold on one second. Let me see who actually. Which one won? It moved funny. Do you remember his name? I could just play it off. Because I have to go to the bathroom so bad. It's hard for me to concentrate. Okay, I'm taking you for reach. All right, so I had a slight monitor issue and I kind of missed that one. So we'll be able to see in the final wrap out who actually won that. If I get the information a little bit later, who else? So right now we have Arcady. For those of you who don't, or is the first time watching RDS, he is one of the heavy champions, and he actually won the FIA sponsored drift event in Odaiba. So he's actually a legend. He's 1,200 horsepower, and he drifts with every horsepower. It's actually really funny because he goes up against Daigo Saito a lot, and Daigo Saito, the only comment he had in Japanese was, "That car is insane fast, and Arcady is insane fast." So whenever you have a D1 legend tell you that you're just extremely, extremely, extremely fast, then you know he's definitely a talented driver, and he's getting respect from a lot of the OGs, the old school drivers out there. So, okay, so we got the next warm-up, Team Fresh Out, and they're one of the heavy hitters of the game this time. And this guy, not only is it spice, he's more of a habanero. For all of you that know what habanero tastes like, it's very spicy, and he's going to be bringing the heat in this round definitely. And both of these drivers are actually really good drivers, so I expect to see a tandem that is going to be exciting, and there should be replays, and it should be loud and children crying and people happy. The rest of the event, now as I said earlier, for anybody just joining us now, this is a particularly long course for the middle courses that you see in the Russian Drift Series, which means it's high speed to a point, but it doesn't have like the long slopes like Suzuka Twin in Japan and a couple of other places. So you have to do a whole lot of accelerating, getting your line straight, and moving forward. A lot of accelerating, making sure your line is set up so whenever you do decelerate, you're able to get back on the gas as soon as possible with quick position changes. And so basically the drivers here that are better at weight transfer and pre-mapping their turns instead of just spotting corners as soon as it comes up, they're being able to drift into the next corner by setting their car up at the previous one. They'll definitely get the higher scores and do better in the lead runs of the tandem, because the faster the front car goes, the harder it is for the chase car to keep in its tail, especially if there's a horsepower difference. So, all right, so we're ready for the next battle. We have Denis Miguel and Omarov Magomed, and they're about to get busy here. All right, so they're coming out of the respect lane. They're not going to throttle until they get past the last pylon, or you're not allowed to do 100% throttle, so boom. Now it's 100% throttle. As you can see, there's a little distance right there, but he should be able to make that up in that first clip zone. All right, so he's doing a decent, follow. He came on the inside, but okay, so he's back into the pocket. So he snuck back into the pocket. So if he can keep up this pace right here, it might not be able to get him, get the major points for this. Okay, that was a bobble, an understeer, almost off course. So the end of that run is definitely going to cost him. So when they actually do the change, I can almost guarantee you that Denis has the advantage in this particular run. And I was saying he's from the Fresh Out team, and the guys in Fresh Out team are all habanero drivers. Hot. They come in hot, fully commit, a lot of throttle work, very little brake work. And even though he bobbled, the rear player bobbled a lot more. And I'm really seeing his suspension setup just seems like it's just, his suspension setup is just, he's too much play in his front end, which caused him to do a lot of correction, which was something he was having, it was issues he was having to do in the initial qualifying runs that we had earlier this morning. I'd like to thank everybody that joined us with that. And I also would like to thank everybody that is joining us right now. We're in the qualifying last for the top 32 qualifying runs to make the cut. So we'll have the top 16 for tomorrow's competition. All right, and as you saw with that last run right there, I guarantee that the Fresh Out, Team Fresh Out, Miguel got the advantage for that run. So when they swap positions, we'll be able to see if. All right, so okay, so they're on the line now. They're ready. As you can see, Omarov is ready to see if he can get himself in a competitive position here. Now, he's definitely lost the first round, so now that he's in the lead, he's going to have to do something better than he did the first time. Okay, yeah, that was an interesting initiation, but he's actually holding on. Okay, he's hitting his clip. And Denise is having problems actually doing a really good follow. Now he's settled into a good chase line now. So if he can keep this pace up, he definitely has got the win. But he is playing off. The lines are kind of shallow. This is actually a hard one for me to judge. But since Denise already had the advantage in the first run, a considerable advantage, I think he's going to get the win for this particular run right here. But we will see in and say, okay, so right there, that was the area where I thought that there's going to be some issues right there, because the chase car definitely took a odd line, whereas right now he didn't follow. Even though there is mimicry, he's not following the exact same line, so he's not filling the zones that the front car is filling out, which is going to cause a couple of penalty points in that last transition. So it's just a matter of time. Once we see what the judges come through with, it's actually hard for me to decide which one, or should I say guess, because I am not a judge. It could go either which way. I'm not sure which way it'll go either. So, but the judges will be back here in 1 second. So I'm going to have to step away for a second. Please continue watching, and I'll be right back. I think is usable, right? I don't want to drop my water. The green car? The green car? Okay, and I'm back. I had to step away for a few seconds to take care of something right quick. And we're about to get into action. Sorry I missed the last guy who won. I'm pretty sure it was Team Fresh Out. If not, forgive me. Had to walk away for a second. But we're back into the action. And this is actually going to be a good matchup here too. If you guys who watch RDS know the car setups, the red S14 is Chieftain, and then the S13, which is no less than beast mode, is set up. I'm pretty sure that one has the R35 engine. Hold on, where's my list of engines? Will showed up on the screen here in a second. So Chieftain in the red. His brother is Gorgie, who's one of the champions, and he actually is one of the only two people that have the SR in the competition. They actually, here is a lot of 2Js and V8s. That's like the common two engines you see, and you'll see the VR38D TT, and that's not necessarily twin turbo or not. I've seen a single turbo setup on it, but for the most part, it's going to be twin turbo. And these two guys, the red one right here, Chieftain's red one, is a 2.2 SR20 VET, which means it's using the VET head, which is unlike the normal head. It's set up for high revolutions, high revs, and so you can have a longer power band. He runs high octane gas only, doesn't run E85, so he actually has one of the lower horsepowers of today's field, but he makes up with it with heart. Oh, actually, they powered it up from last year. Okay, he's running 630 horsepower. But they have gone the whole season this year and last year with minimal problems without blowing the engines. So a lot of people say SR20s blow up, but they put this together well, and their tuner is a beast, and he's been able to make sure that they run all the way through. So, okay, so we're about to start with Fedorov, Ilya Fedorov in the lead, and Vladimir Chieftain in the follow. So they're coming around to respect, and boom, full throttle. Initiation. The first clip was a little wide, but he filled out the second touch and go. There was a slight bobble. He might lose a few points for that. Chieftain is having relative proximity, but yeah, he's getting pulled away from. I just think it's the difference in torque that's slightly making a difference. But at least it was a chase. He still maintained the chase. So if he's able to get advantage on the next run, he still may be able to pull out the win. Look, so we'll see back on the replay here. Okay, initiation, he got kind of pulled away from the beginning, but he still managed to come back through here. But once it came to the full out throttle, in this area, you can just see by the smoke and the acceleration that it's just the difference of torque and horsepower that the S13 was able to pull away from him. But he still kept within proximity relatively. I mean, he could have been closer, but I think he made the best decision he could do without trying to go out of his way to take an inline to get close again. He pretty much still tried to maintain a chase, even though it was at a distance, so he can get as many points as possible. In his defense, Fedorov is a very fast drifter. The car is fast, and he has a very fast and aggressive drift style. So basically, if you can't stay with him from the beginning, it's really hard to catch up with him. So I give props for Vladimir for being able to keep his cool and still be able to maintain and get some semblance of points through completing the actual chase, even though his proximity points aren't going to be that really great, and he will get penalized for a couple of the bobbles at the beginning. So we'll see you on the flip side. They're about to swap up. Vladimir is now going to be in the lead, and it'd be interesting on their initiation if Vladimir on a straight throttle is able to pull away from him or not. They're two different type of engines, even though they're similar chassis. Okay, yeah, he's able to keep a decent amount of distance, but I think on throttle that Fedorov is going to be able to get back or at least close to him. And yep, through the sweep. Oh, wow. Now, both of them went off the track, but Vladimir went off the track first. Fedorov pretty much followed him off the track. So if anything, Vladimir is going to lose points from that, which I believe is going to seal his fate. And I think that Ilya Fedorov has won that particular bout or this particular battle. Now, during the replay, we'll get to see different views. And as you can see, all right, so now he's able to sink into it and get a good chase line. This is a decent chase line right here. Vladimir actually went off the track, which lost him points. Fedorov, I don't know if that was a mistake or he decided to back up off of him just to make sure that they don't have any collisions if he was to spin out. You know, was he playing it cautious or not, to realize, okay, I have to win. Let me just do it easy throughout the race of the track. There's a lot of things that go through a lot of the drivers' minds. Do I want to be aggressive right now? If I back off because I guarantee to win, then that'll keep any mistakes from happening at the end. And the kickback right here. But see, it was amazing. I mean, I think that's a really good job by Fedorov, being able to adjust and still maintain, because it was quite easy for him to get seduced and pull off the track. And there it is, Fedorov with the win. That was a good job, Fedorov. And Tiftin, it was a good run, but it just wasn't enough to pull it off. Hopefully, he'll be able to get a little bit faster and get a little more points on the next time around. Spicy fun fact for the people, the Tiftins have the best barbecue of anybody in RDS, and they'll have a barbecue after the event right there in the pits and invite anybody that wants to come on and eat the barbecue to have some. So if you ever come to RDS, kind of float around their tent after the event and you might actually get some really, really good Russian style barbecue. And while the guys are setting up, there's another time for a Gregory Franklin spicy hip-hop fun fact about Nizhny Novgorod. The first Russian tank was built here. Since this has such a rich history, this is such one of the older places here. The first Russian tank was built here. All right, now back to the track. Okay, now we have two giants of the game. We got the two Evgenis about to go. My personal favorite, Lusev Evgeny and his 8-1 Chaser is the start. Now, Lusev has got a really aggressive style. He is jalapeno drift style. As you see, the initiation, 3 wheels. He going into the first corner, 3-wheeling again. This guy is on throttle all the way through, and I give it the other Evgeny, Resevsnikov, for being able to stick with him, even though he kind of lost it at the end. Oh, he came out the drift, which is unfortunate, because they were actually having, I think, one of the best tandems that we've had today. We'll look at the replay to see what caused actual issue right there. But these two guys, both stature-wise, they're two giant guys, but they're also both drive big. And right now you're seeing the big driving right there. That end cut's not going to give him points. It's not going to give the follow guy points because it's an end cut. But he was still close enough to be considered a chase run. But right here you can see, okay, yeah, the rear end came out a little too much. Lost traction. He had to bail out to keep from going into the pit. So that was unfortunate that happened. I think it would have been interesting because he would have been able to recover on the second round if he was able to hold it off. But I guarantee that the advantage goes to Lusev in the 8-1 Mark II. And it's the only one I've seen in this series. And it's got a 2J in it. And it's not even like it's 1,000 horsepower or anything. It's just the guy is like a very fast driver, and he's able to use his weight transfer and his traction maximum. You know, I mean, he does the over rev thing. Of course, that gives you all the smoke that everybody likes, but he still uses the traction and his angle to his complete advantage, so it makes a very quick driver. And I've seen him hang with Christoph Bruce. I've seen him hang with Jefferson, both of them. So it shows that he's a driver that's really capable of winning any other time. It's just a shame he hasn't won yet, but I think it's just a matter of time before he pulls his championship out. All right, so we've swapped up. Lusev is in the chase, and we're going to see what Evgeny Rusevnikov is able to do. And as you can see, Lusev actually being a little too aggressive. I think they might have had contact. I don't know if he's going to get popped for that or not, but so far he's still all right. It's a decent chase. It is a chase. I think he might have been a little too aggressive at the beginning, and I'm not really sure how the judges feel. Some judges feel like no major damage, slight contact is okay if it's not intentional, but some judges absolutely hate it, disdain it, and it won't be accepted. So we'll see. It was definitely a race accident. There was no ill will at all on the kickback. It was just the front car's kickback was a little slower than Evgeny thought. Okay, there might not have even been contact looking at that. At the angle I'm at right now, it's hard for me to really tell. But his lip spoiler is dangling. So we'll see. But he kept better proximity than the first time. So it'll be interesting to see which way it goes. I honestly don't know who won that one. If anybody out there in YouTube land and in the live feed that has an opinion on who won before we get the final score, go ahead and type in who you think who won, and you get bragging points for being a better judge than I am, because I am not a judge. I'm here watching it just like you guys. I just happen to be at the scene of the crime. All right, so, okay. So, Lusev, Evgeny with the win, the 8-1 Mark II, which is, man, that came out pretty good. It was hard for me to tell which one. So, hopefully you guys watching the live feed, did anybody get it right? I don't know. I'm going to go back and check out the live feed later afterwards. I don't have access to it right now, so hopefully whoever got it right, congratulations. Whoever got it wrong didn't. And everybody else that's just watching, I really thank you for all your participation and watching and enjoying this event with us today. We have another full day of events tomorrow. I really hope you tune in as well. So I'm going to step away for 1 second, and I'll be right back with you. And once again, I'd like to tell you we really appreciate you guys for joining in today. And I hope that tomorrow you'll check out the full tomorrow. So this is the top 16 right here. So it'll take me too long to say all the names, and I'll probably just say them wrong anyhow. So just check it out, and this is what you'll expect tomorrow. They're probably going to set up the battle tree, or the judo dantai as they say in Japan, and have the list out for you. So I would like to say thank you to everybody. I'm about to log off here. Hopefully you join in tomorrow. And I'd like to spend this time with you guys in America. Once again, thank you everybody in the United States that watched. Thanks everybody in Europe, everybody in Russia, all the English speaking guys that tuned in onto the English.